We robbed a preschool yesterday for our own personal comfort when we're working at the work table. It's proving sufficient, as it's nice to stand on for hours without killing your ankles. So that's new, but that's unimportant, as today we are going to show you how exactly step by step to convert these AC compressors into air compressors. So let's get started. Okay, so step one is we are going to take off all of these bolts right here behind your pulley, because we don't have the puller or anything, so it's going to be way easier just to take these bolts off around the outside. So do that first. And just like that, the top has been removed. So how we did it is you just slowly loosen all of these a little bit at a time, because it only allows you to take them out a little bit. So you just take them all out a little bit at a time, just lift it up as you go, and eventually it'll pop right out. So, yep. The next step is you go ahead and take out these 5 bolts right here, just like that. And in case you were wondering, these bolts are a 10 millimeter, and these bolts that we just took out are a 13 millimeter. So just like that, you pop your lid off, and then we already took this one off, so I mean it just pops right off. But if you have some trouble getting let me get this back on here. There we go. If you hold on, hand me the small little flathead. If you have trouble getting them off, you can stick a small flathead screwdriver just right in there and gently lift up on all these holes and just basically all these seams until it slides off, because you don't want to mess these up. So that'll come off.
If you do damage these, you can get just a seal kit for these sand-in compressors. If you order it by application, like these ones came on Jeep Cherokees, I know, all the Jeep stuff. Like this one in particular would be like a late 80s Jeep Cherokee. I know these came on there. This is a sand-in 508 model.
There you are. Your 5 pistons, just like that. Okay, the next step is that you're going to drill out and tap these littler holes right here. These are the oil ports that run from the back to the front to the back, whatever it may be. And so this is the
it's a 508.
Yeah, 508 model. So these have 2 oil parts, but the 709. The 709s only have 1 port. So if you're watching this video and yours looks a little different, then that's why.
Some of the 508s have a brass rod that runs from the back side of the housing up through. So once you get the front off, you can just pull those brass rods out and chuck them, and then drill these. We're drilling it with a 13/64 bit and tapping it to 1/4-20, so you can put a 1/4-20 plug in there.
Okay, after you drill out your oil ports and you tap them with the aforementioned sizes, You then get your little, what size are those?
Quarter 20.
Okay, some quarter 20 caps, plugs, whatever you want to call them. And you're going to put some red Loctite on them because you don't ever want these to come out. There's no point in ever needing to take them out.
You can also use thread sealer or...
Yeah. Or any other Loctite, I guess, but just make sure it's strong.
And make sure they go in at least flush or below the level of this sealed or this machine surface.
Screw sturdy. This is a unnecessary, well, it's necessary, it's a optional step. We are gonna go ahead and port these ports right here. Just kind of get rid of those sharp edges, kind of increase the flow, because these things run hot, so anything you do to help them will probably make it better. So we're gonna go ahead and port these sharp edges right here with a Dremel. But you guys don't have to do that, but we're gonna. We have ported that exit right there, or intake. So that's gonna have nice airflow now. And also, the next step now is to drill a hole into this housing. And what that does is put a vent onto this housing, and that allows for when this compressor is running, it's not just gonna build pressure until it explodes, because we blocked those ports. So now this is a sealed capsule. So we have to drill a 21/64 hole and tap that, and then put a vent to atmosphere so this doesn't explode. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so we have center punched our hole. We ended up moving it farther back because the swash plate in there was in the way. And little tip, if you put a rag in there, it'll catch all the shavings, so you don't have to like try and clean them out later. So here we go. Always wear safety glasses. Pull your rag out, and there's no shavings in the body. There you go. And now tap that with a 1/4 tap. This thing will not focus.
There's no way that's...
Yeah. Now that we Googled this, that is not the right size hole. What drill bit was that?
I don't remember. Not the right one.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, that is not the right size drill bit, so we're gonna figure that out. Alright, so we realized our mistake when we first did our initial research. We searched a 1/8 18 when it's a 1/4 18. So after some more research, what size is it?
7/16.
The correct drill bit is a 7/16. So do that size instead of the first size that we said. So, yeah. It is a 7/16 strobe bit. Not a 21/64. After you drill it out to the correct size, which is 7/16, you go ahead and tap it with your 1/4x18 tap, which I guess is the right size for this vent. I mean, I guess if you have a different size vent, then I guess do your research accordingly, but yeah. Also, note that when you're tapping this hole, don't make it to where this vent goes very deep, because you don't want it to start smacking your swash plate in there. So test it intermittently as you're tapping it to make sure that your vent doesn't go too far into the casing here. Probably flush would be good, I guess. Would be perfect, actually. So just do a little, back it out, do a little, back it out, and test your vent so you don't make it go too far into the housing, because you don't want that. Okay, and just like that, we now have our vent tapped and screwed in on there. And don't Loctite this or like seal it that like crazily in any way. I mean, of course, tighten it to where it's like good, but this is also your fill port where we're gonna put our oil later on. So we'll explain that later on, but yeah, so don't like Loctite this or anything. It's also your fill port. So yeah.
Okay, so there's some different schools of thought on how to achieve this, converting one of these into an air compressor. So most guys at this point would disassemble this, and they would coat all of these parts in high temp grease, which we've also done before on our Jeep, and it works fine. But with the Jeep, we're not really using the compressor much except for air and tires backup. This is going to get used all the time. Like, this is kind of a critical part of this truck, being it has air ride suspension. So what we're going to try on this one is filling it with Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. It's a super thick, stringy oil, and the reason for that is this sits on its side the way it's mounted. And if you've got this cavity packed with grease, it doesn't seem like these upper pistons would be getting much lubrication. You know, the swash plate is moving around in there, but I mean, the lower portion seems like that would lubricate pretty well. But the upper part, it really doesn't seem, to me anyway, that's just my own theory, that it would get that much lubrication. So we're going to fill this thing with this oil to, I don't know, maybe we'll try like
right here.
Yeah, like 2/3 of the way up, and then it should slosh around in there pretty decently. But we'll see. It's a theory that we're going to test.
If it blows up, it blows up.
Yeah, if it blows up, we'll just do another one. And these, I think we got this for like $80 off eBay or something. So this is untested, but we'll see. If it blows up, it blows up.
This is like rudimentary, you know.
And a lot of people don't vent
advancements.
this housing either. In my mind, once you plug these two ports off, you're sealing this cavity, and you're going to blow a seal out, or you're going to push oil and grease past these rings into your air system. So venting the housing is just kind of a thing that we do too. Just doesn't seem like it would hurt anything, that's for sure. But if you don't vent it, it's definitely going to pressurize. These things get like 300 degrees when they're operating. So, and the reason we drilled another hole instead of just drilling and tapping this was the way that the ports are oriented was going to be right under our air cleaner. So we decided to Just drill another hole, so this will actually be, this will be on the top, this will be on the side.
That way your oil doesn't leak out of your
Yeah.
vent. So we had to drill it to be on the top.
That's the only reason we just drilled it on a different side. It was just the way that this was oriented was going to be pointing straight up like the air cleaner. So, didn't seem like we wanted to deal with that. But, here we go. We'll reassemble this with Lucas. We'll kind of coat everything initially to make sure it's good on all sides, and then we'll go ahead and fill this cavity up. This stuff's super thick. It's like honey.
It's basically just like the grease that everyone else uses, but like...
It's super, it's nasty. It's...
Yeah, this is just... I don't know, better grease, I guess. Water grease. Who knows? Maybe this will become just gum. It'll just gum up and become
It might
big
blow up in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
It's a possibility.
that would suck.
It's gross. I know that.
I don't know. I mean, it's meant for all kinds of applications, so we'll have to see what happens in, you know, weeks from now.
Ugh.
It's like chewing gum, basically. Microwaved chewing gum.
It's so stringy.
Also, if you forgot how to reassemble this is kind of like a reassembly thing too, so if you guys forgot, this is how you do it. If you already tore one of these apart and then you're looking at this video for help on how to reassemble it.
At least this sticky stuff will help hold all that together.
Yeah, when you turn it upside down. Just turn it sideways. Both of them sideways, and then...
It'd be a lot easier if we can just get it to pop in like this. Just gotta figure out which way the bolts went. Oh, probably need this.
Well, you probably have to push that back into place.
Yeah, I will.
Because you
I
moved it. Yeah. Don't forget your
want to forget
O-ring.
this.
Yeah.
Here, let's put some of this goo in there. It'll help hold it in place.
Wouldn't that prevent sealing?
No,
You sure?
no.
I was gonna say, like, you're... It's not like gasket maker. Oh, I didn't think that the seams needed to be lubricated, but...
Oh, it's gonna help hold that in place. Ugh. Nasty.
I don't know.
Okay. Now let's see if this will stay together or fall apart for us.
Would you look at that? Now you have to push it down and get those pistons to move.
Well, which way is that pointing? So it's
Yeah, just push it down beforehand. Why aren't you wearing just gloves?
Oh, there it goes.
It wasn't really like that. It was more like right there, but okay.
It'll be alright.
Can't you rotate that?
No, this is stationary. That rotates. Well, it doesn't rotate. It just.
It's definitely holding it.
Yeah, you can rotate that.
Just rotate it then. Well, that seems to be pretty lined up.
Good enough, I think. We start tightening these bolts.
There's our 10mm. 10.
Don't cross thread them.
I know.
Where's the other wrench?
Wherever you put it. It's right here. That's okay. Now after you put on all your bolts, ever so slowly, just one at a time, you, of course, this will be upside down when you do that. You just run it down and get it all nice and flat and tighten those up. And then now you put all your washers back on after cleaning them, of course. There's a washer on the back of that, so if that comes off, gasket. If there's, sometimes the gasket comes off on this side of the face, so just always make sure that gasket is there.
And it has these alignment dowels.
Oh yeah, and there's 2 alignment dowels. Line those up with the holes. There they go. Just look at it.
I can't see it. It's over there.
It's right there. I think you're putting it in wrong. Yeah. I think it might only go in one way. Is it upside down? I'm starting. There, okay. Apparently it's directional. These also have alignment holes on either side. It's a little dirty. Make sure to have brake cleaner at the ready. And then, of course, these pins go all the way through, so there's alignment holes on this cap here as well. And all this is on the same side. This wire, this plug, and these ports are all on the same, all on the same side, the top side. Or for this case, it's going to be on the side, sideways side. Where's the, are you holding the last bolt? Oh yeah. Thought we were missing a bolt.
I thought you had it.
This one doesn't want to go in. Like at all. What?
I don't know, there's obviously something stuck in there or something.
And just like that, there was just a little piece of aluminum. It's the aluminum shaving in the one thread, so we had to get that out real quick. And then you put your cappies. Why are you doing that one? I could have done that one. Well, your hand's on the way now.
They're different sizes.
You serious?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. They're the same size. They're the exact same size.
Should we fill it with oil or should
No, actually, yeah, they are different sizes.
maybe we should fill it or wait?
I don't know. Let the viewers decide. I don't know.
Like 3 viewers. I don't know. Let's fill it.
So that way you can move it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you gonna move it? You put it in the vise and then turn it or something? I don't know.
No.
Anyways, that's how you convert an AC compressor into an air compressor. And then, of course, fill it with your 3/4 of the way with your Lucas oil. And if you do decide to do grease, swab all the grease in there before you put it back together, obviously. So, in case it wasn't obvious. Put all the grease in there before you put the cap back on. But yeah, there you go. This is us filling the AC compressor with our hypothetical substance that may or may not work. If it works, then we're billionaires. Oh, not billionaires. We're geniuses. And if it doesn't work, then, you know, the name of science. It was all in the name of science, you know. If no one's going to waste their money to test it, then we should be the first. You should put this in the vise and like cycle it as you're doing this so it'll like settle. Because right now it's just probably sitting all on the top.
It is.
So
That's why it ran out over the top.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably just gooping on the top and staying there, making a mess.
Really can't see down in there to see how much is in it.
We have my little camera.
I don't know, maybe if we rotate the wash plate around, maybe there's like a certain spot where you can see.
That's what I was saying.
We're gonna have to take these off to rotate it.
Why?
Because it's not, it's just kind of
yeah. So what we decided to do was just take that side bolt out so we can tell when it's halfway up there, because we couldn't even see in there to see how full it was. So when that runs out, that's halfway, and then we'll just like tilt it and put a little more or something like that. Tilt it to where it's kind of like 3/4 of the way up. And then once it starts rolling out, that's when you know it's full. So it's a little tip. And if you want to know how to get it full to where you want it. Oh, there it is.
Oh, put the plug in real quick.
I'm holding a camera. I can't. So now that we know it's halfway full, we're just going to put like a good amount extra.
Another gallon.
Yeah, we're going to put a whole nother gallon. That should be like pretty good. You know, pretty lubricated. Get that cleaned up. Cool. You can see it flowing like honey.
That's good.
It's probably good.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely good. Oh yeah, you can see it. That's like, you know,
No, it's just
7/8
it's
of
just
the way up.
sitting on top of that thing.
It's definitely
The
good.
side of the wash plate.
I thought it was
Alright.
full. Okay.
What size is this? Like a 19?
It's the size of my hand.
I want to tighten it a little bit.
Just tighten it with your hand.
I don't want it to fall off going down the road.
Doubt it will.
Okay.
It's not a 17.
It's a 19.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
It's a 19.
Okay, that's good. Now let's rotate it around and just to make sure that that isn't going to catch the...
Swash plate.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Put the impact on this.
Oh, see how much air it pushes?
Oh, was it going the right way though? Was it pushing out of here?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, let's put the impact on.
Okay. Alrighty, we have our perfectly sized impact for this tiny compressor. So we're gonna see how much air it puts out.
We're like stripping the bolt. That's not a good idea.
No, I think you're loosening it. Oh, that's hot. Woo!
Yeah, never mind. We're not using that.
Never mind.
You think it's left-hand thread?
I think it is.
I doubt it.
Okay, so yeah, we stripped that nut and possibly the little stud, but I think it'll be fine if we just go get a new metric nut. Mosquitoes are insane. But, so yeah, it's gonna go like right here in this area. But obviously, since this truck isn't ready for it, we're gonna go out to our Jeep right now, which already has a converted air compressor. We're gonna show you what the setup kind of looks like on an actual engine.
This is the setup on the Jeep. And like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. This one is set up for grease. We put a grease zerk in place of the fill hole on this one, and also vented the housing. So on this one, on the intake side, the suction side, this is the factory AC hose that we just cut and teed it into the PCV system, because it was just an easy source of filtered air, because this line comes right out of the air box. And the discharge line is the factory AC line that we just cut and rerouted and put back here. Put a compression fitting on it, and then it goes right through a check valve and into this manifold that we made. You can buy manifolds with different numbers of ports on them and stuff. I just had these fittings laying around, so it would be a lot easier to just buy a little aluminum manifold that has however many ports you desire. This will eventually get plumbed down to the front bumper, which is going to double as an air tank, but for right now this is where you hook up to fill up your tires. And it's got a 150 psi blow-off valve, just in the event this were to ever fail. This is the pressure switch that kicks on at 90 psi, sends power to the AC clutch, and it's just ran from a toggle switch on the dash. Kicks on at 90, kicks off at 120. These switches are pretty cheap. I got 2 of these, a pair of them, off Amazon for like 10 bucks or something. But there's a lot of different ways you could really do this system. This is how we did the Jeep, and it'll be similar with the rat rod. But we'll probably just get one of those like little mini air filters for the rat rod, since it's not going to have PCV or anything to tie into. But it'll be similar setup. This is just one way to do it. And also there's, a lot of people, instead of disassembling this and making it to where you grease it and blocking the ports and all that, they'll just take and put an inline oiler in the suction side, and then basically a catch can on the discharge side to catch the oil coming back out of the system. If you're not comfortable mechanically wise, taking apart this compressor and doing the modifications and putting it back together. A lot of people do it that way. This just seems to be the easiest way and the least maintenance. You don't have to keep an oiler full and keep dumping out a catch can. But there's a lot of different ways it could be done. But we'll do another little update when we get that one actually installed on the rat rod and see what we end up actually doing with it.